What's up, guys? I'm Joe from Subtle Art Soap. Appreciate you stopping by the channel. Hope you're all doing well. So we are back from our vacation. We spent a week in Colorado. Prior to that, I had spent a week skiing in Vermont. I wasn't staying in Vermont. I was just doing day trips. The mountains are only an hour and a half and 2 hours away from me. So I was just doing day trips to Vermont. But last week, Sadie and I flew to Colorado, and I did some skiing at Keystone and Breckenridge, and then Sadie and I also did some snowshoeing out there, and absolutely amazing trip. The views are stunning. The just the towns are so fun. It was very relaxing. It was nice to get away and really enjoy some intense skiing. Really pushed myself. I don't know if you saw any of the videos I put up on Facebook, but I really pushed myself out there, which is what I wanted to do when I was out while I was out there. And when you go out and ski out west and then you come back home, your level of skiing is just elevated. And it happened last time I went to Jackson Hole. I came back and my level of skiing was just elevated. This time out in Colorado, I'm a much more experienced skier, so I was going after some more intense terrain than I did the last time I was out west. So I really got to experience some really, really intense adrenaline pumping skiing, which is what I wanted. So we're back. We're back at it. I got a shave video we're going to do, and we're going to talk about the new release that comes out tomorrow, and that is this one right here, Draconis Noctem, Draconis Night. And the scent notes on this are, I wrote it down because there's quite a few: sandalwood, whiskey, coriander, tobacco, vanilla, oud, cedar, and patchouli. Now this is Draconis is a dark, spicy fragrance. This is a dark, more of a warm fragrance. You got that tobacco in there. You have the whiskey. You have the oud. There's some vanilla to kind of smooth things out. You have that sandalwood in there. So the difference is, where Draconis is just spicy, warm with all the spices. And then you have Draconis Luna, which is light and fresh. Now you have Draconis Noctem, which is just warm and more of like a nighttime fragrance. And there is a matching splash. Now, something I want to show you with the splash. There are some natural extracts in this aftershave, and you can see that it's going to separate like that, right? Perfectly fine. We don't use any emulsifiers. Just give it a good shake. You're good to go. We don't use, like I said, we don't use emulsifiers in our aftershaves. Nothing wrong with them. It's just we don't use them. So you're going to get that separation in some of our aftershaves, especially the ones that may have the natural extracts in them, or the heavier essential oils like a vanilla absolute or a cocoa absolute. You might notice that they'll separate a little bit more because they are a heavier oil, and we don't use an emulsifier. And let's see, the razor we're going to be using, this is a Mogal Incorporated New York straight razor. These scales, I put these on. These are different scales. I bought this razor. The scales are broken, but the reason I bought it, you can see that spine, it's because of the etching on the spine. And it's a New York razor, which is what I collect. So I just finished honing this up on my other channel. I'll put a link down below if you want to watch the honing. And we're going to shave with it. The brush we're using, I got a Maggard razors 2-band Badger. As far as Badger brushes go, right now this is one of my favorites. I don't know if you guys know about the Maggard meetup. That's in April, but excuse me, I will be attending that, but not as a vendor. I thought about going as a vendor, but I'd rather just go as a wet shaver and not have it not be a work thing for me. The business, I know it's a perfect way to grow the business and to get out there and meet everybody and let everybody see you, but I want to go to this as a wet shaver. I want to go around to different booths and talk to the different soap makers and excuse me, the different vendors and maybe pick up a couple of products. Didn't really want to go as a vendor, but I think it'll be fun because I'll be able to meet some people that I see in the community that I've never actually had an opportunity to meet before. Speaking of that, we're going to talk a little bit about my trip to Colorado as I'm building a lather here, and someone that I met up with who lives out in Colorado. Now, if you guys saw the video, you might have saw that I met up with Reed, Lather Whipster, out in Colorado. He lives there. And I had told him that I was coming out to go skiing. For the past year, he's been saying you should come out and we'll hit the slopes. So when Sadie and I made the decision to pull the trigger on this trip, I reached out to him and said, "Hey, we're coming out. I'm going to Keystone. Do you want to ski Keystone?" And he was like, "Yeah, definitely." This is so nice. Now, Reed's been in the community for a while. He used to have his own show called Blade Gap. And when I was a new soap maker, I think I was in business maybe 6 months, Reed reached out to me and said, "Hey, do you want to be on the show? Quick little interview. You could talk about your products and let people get to know you." And I said, "Yeah, sure." It's the first show that I ever did, first live that I ever did. And I got to tell you, my experience with that was really good. Reed, like before the show, he reached out to me and he said, "Hey, listen, 15 minutes to go. I'll reach out to you again when there's 5 minutes." Just kind of made it really, comfortable. Made sure I wasn't, too nervous. Told me the things, that he was going to ask me, so there was no surprises, no, ambush nonsense that people seem to think is funny. But it was a very professional atmosphere, a very professional attitude, and it was a really good interview. And I had picked up my very first wholesale account because of that show. Now, we've kind of backed off of wholesaling since then, but because I was on his show, I had an offer for a wholesale, offer to be in another shop. And I also met a lot of people in the wet shaving community who used to watch his show. Because they watched his show, they saw me, they started buying my soaps. And some of those people are still good customers of ours to this day. Now, one of the things that Reed had promised from being on the show, he said, "I'll give you 3 social media spots. You'll get I'll do a YouTube video." He said he'll do a Facebook review and then an Instagram review. And he did all 3 of those. And he also helped get us into a shaving shop in Colorado that has since kind of backed away from the shaving supplies. I don't know much about what's going on with the shop, but we stopped, like I said, we stopped wholesaling, and now I think that shop is starting to kind of back away a little bit from the shaving world. But he did help us get into the market in Colorado, and he did help a lot of people did get to know us because of that. So I thought that was really, really cool. All right, I'm gonna wet my face a little bit, and we'll get lathering, talk about the soap, talk a little bit about the trip, and yeah, see how this goes. All right, let's get lather in here and check it out. Our typical lather. Boom, boom. All right, so scent strength on this is like the rest of our soaps, medium. Really, really nice. If you like, what's interesting is I pick up some different scents. Sadie will smell this and she'll pick up a little bit more of the tobacco, right? I smell it. I get a little bit more of the sandalwood. maybe some of the cedar. But this is a very, very nice, I would say, a nighttime fragrance. Now, there is no EDP for this. Just going to be the soap and splash. As far as a bath soap goes with this, probably a little bit later on, I am going to do that because I do think this would be a nice, this is a nice fresh masculine scent. And the more they work the lather, the more that scent comes out. That. All right. Clean this up a little bit. And we'll get going here. All right. Let's get rolling with this razor. Now I already stropped it, so I'll just get rolling with it. Very nice. Now this, I did this razor, like I said, I made a video on my other channel. This is a full synthetic progression, Nanoa, 1K, 5K, 8K, 12K. And when I was out skiing with Reed, we were talking about straight razors and honing. I asked him if he'd be interested, if he wanted to try out honing his own razors. I had a set of stones that I can send him for him to try out. I want to say I do have, let's see, when did I shave? Saturday. Yeah, so I have 3 days growth. And this 12K Nano Edge is just fine. I talk about it in the video that a 12K Nano will give you a very nice, comfortable shaving edge. And that's what we have. Especially if you're just starting out in honing, you don't want to get into natural stones because that can get really confusing. You want to stick to synthetics. And this Nano 12K is a very comfortable synthetic edge. It's the first stones I ever started honing with. And I've always liked the edge that they create, that they give you. Going right through this 3 days of growth, like no problem. All right. I'll get these I'll get the stones boxed up and sent out so you can start messing around on your own. Now the trip, whew, let me tell you something. I don't know if you could tell. I have a little bit of sunburn right here, tip of my nose. So I had the sun at that altitude, doesn't matter if it's summer or winter, the sun at that altitude is intense. And I had a 50 sunblock on, but most of my face was covered with my helmet liner. But the very tip of my nose was showing. And even though I had a 50 sunblock on, I still got a little sunburn there. But then again, I'm skiing at 12,600 feet. And yes, it was a little tricky to breathe. If you watch one of the videos where I went hiking at Breckenridge, you could tell that hike was kicking my ass. Up at that altitude, the oxygen is thinner. It's a lot more work. But the reward is an unbelievable skiing run. All right. First pass is done. Very, very good. Move on to pass number 2. And that's the time you want to go to out west. You know, even the people that were out there, the people I spoke to said end of February, February, March, that's when it gets really good. They did have some good snowfall earlier in the season, but a lot of the people that I spoke to on the lift and stuff were saying that, they don't come out until the end of January. That's when they'll get started. I don't know what's going to happen here. I think our season might be winding down. It's supposed to be rain tomorrow. So I don't know what that'll do to the mountains. Maybe some of that'll be snow up in the mountains. Hopefully it's not all rain. But we are out here. Hang on, I want to get this under a little quick strop. We do every now and then get a little snowstorm. End of March. I remember last year I was skiing into April. So maybe. Maybe I'll get a couple more good days in before the season ends. But as far as video goes, I don't know if I'm going to shoot anything as intense as I shot out there. That was something. I did post most of those videos on my other channel, what I use for the straight razor stuff. So if you want to check those out, they're over there. So this will be out tomorrow at noon Eastern. And right now, just based on some of the feedback that I've gotten, this one might not, no, I should say this one will more than likely be sticking around for a while. I think it's fun playing with the whole flanker idea. You have Draconis Ignis, which is mentholated, Draconis Luna. Now you have this one, and they all have a little bit of that original Draconis DNA. It's just changed up ever so slightly to give you a slightly different profile. I think it's fun to kind of play around with that. You know, seeing as how Draconis was one of our originals, and that scent just kind of really set us apart at the time. From a lot of other soap makers that were out there. There wasn't a lot of dragon's blood soaps at the time. So bringing that out there with our own little twist on it was good, and that's why I kind of like hanging on to that Draconis. Name. Now there is one other one coming in the summer. It is an aquatic, straight up aquatic. So if you like aquatic, light, fresh, citrusy aquatic fragrances, you're really going to like this one. The fragrance blend is already done. Not going to release it, obviously, until the summer because it's a summer one. It is different. I know you see Following Seas is kind kind of an aquatic, but it's more of a, all you can see is a little bit of a woodsy tone to it too. This Draconis, the new Draconis that's going to come out in the summer, is a straight up aquatic. Just want to clean up underneath here a little bit. There we go. That's good. Two's going to do it. That's a really nice edge. Really nice shave from a 12K edge. Just dry this off. Very happy with that edge. Been messing around with the natural stones so much that I haven't really done a lot of honing with a full progression with a synthetic. So it was nice to actually get back to doing that. All right, I'm going to rinse off. We'll throw on some aftershave and then we'll do a recap. All right, there we go. Very nice. All right. Draconis Noctem Splash. Like I said, give it a good shake. Get it all mixed up really well. That's what it'll look like. So good. Yeah. So I pick out the whiskey and the tobacco and the coriander and the splash more than I do the soap. It's weird, right? You pick up like more of the sweetness coming from the soap. I'm getting more of the warm spiciness from the aftershave. Oh, that's so good. It's just interesting to hear what different, people are picking up. Like I said, Sadie's picking up some different things and I'm picking up different notes, and then you use the soap and you pick up, it's more of the sweetness coming out with the soap, but then you use the splash and you get a little bit more of the other parts of the profile. It's just really, really wild. Oh, so good. That's good. All right. Recap. Draconis Noctem comes out tomorrow. Matching splash. The Razor M Mogal Incorporated, New York, vintage. Brush. Wipe this off a little bit. Maggard razors. 2-band Badger. And the bowl, our Fine Accoutrements bowl. All right, guys, that'll do it. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you next time. Take care.